My name is Lila, and if you'd asked me a few years ago where I'd be today, I would never have imagined telling this story. Some will judge me, others may understand. But no matter how it's received, this is my truth, unfiltered and raw. I was the woman he loved in silence, the one hidden behind closed doors, and this is how I found my way back to myself. It began on a rainy Monday morning, the kind where everything feels slow and gray. I had just joined a creative agency as a graphic designer. Nervous but eager, I walked into the open plan office, soaked from the storm but smiling anyway. That's when I met Adrian. He wasn't loud or flashy, just calm, composed, with eyes that held quiet storms. He helped me find my desk and cracked a dry joke that made me laugh when I least expected to. In that instant, he made the chaos around me disappear. Over the next few weeks, we became fast friends. Lunch breaks turned into long walks. Deadlines turned into deep conversations. He talked about music, his love for vintage records, and the joy he found in quiet mornings with coffee. I told him about my love for painting and how I dreamed of hosting my own gallery one day. With Adrian, I felt seen in ways I hadn't been for years. Then, one Friday evening, we stayed late to finish a campaign. Afterward, we ordered takeout and sat by the office window, watching the city lights flicker like stars. That night, something shifted. His hand brushed mine, and we didn't move away. There was something between us, unspoken but undeniable. But that illusion shattered a few weeks later when I found out the truth. Adrian was married. He told me gently, with guilt in his eyes and regret in his voice. "Lila, I didn't mean for this to happen," he said. "My marriage has been broken for a long time. We live like strangers. But with you, I feel alive again." I wish I could say I walked away then, but I didn't. I wanted to believe him. Maybe I needed to believe him. I told myself that love was messy and complicated, that what we had was real, even if the circumstances weren't. The months that followed were a blur of secret smiles and hidden pain. He'd leave love notes in my sketchbook, text me during meetings, tell me I was the light in his otherwise dull world. And for a while, that was enough. But then came the silences. The missed calls, the holidays spent alone, the weekends when I'd wait by the phone, only to hear nothing. And then, the worst moment, seeing him with his wife and son at a bookstore, laughing like nothing in his world was broken. My heart cracked wide open. I stood frozen, clutching a book I couldn't read, watching the man I loved live a life I was never part of. That night, I cried harder than I ever had. I looked in the mirror and saw a version of myself I didn't recognize. A woman who had settled for fragments when she deserved the whole. I knew then I had to choose myself. I wrote him a letter, my goodbye. "Adrian, you gave me pieces of your heart, but I need something whole. I can't keep living in the shadows, waiting for a tomorrow that may never come. I'm walking away, not because I stopped loving you, but because I finally started loving myself. Lila." He didn't reply. Maybe he couldn't. Maybe he knew it was the right thing too. The following weeks were rough. I cried over my morning coffee. I painted in silence. I avoided our favorite cafe. But slowly, I began rebuilding. I poured my pain into art. I traveled alone, journaled at sunrise, and reconnected with the parts of me I had buried beneath his love. And then when I wasn't looking for it, I met someone new. His name was Leo. Kind, warm, and emotionally present. There were no secrets with him, no waiting, no pretending, just two people choosing each other in every small, beautiful moment. Looking back, I don't hate Adrian. Our story taught me hard, necessary lessons. It showed me that love without freedom is a cage, and no matter how romantic it looks, it will always hurt in the end. To anyone walking the path I once did, know this: you deserve to be chosen in daylight, not hidden in shadows. Love shouldn't feel like a secret you're ashamed of. It should feel like peace, like home. Choose yourself, again and again. The right kind of love will find you when you do. My name is Eliza, and I never thought I'd find myself living this story, let alone sharing it. It's not something I'm proud of. It's complicated, messy, and filled with moments I still don't fully understand. But if I've learned anything, it's that the truth, no matter how painful, has power. I was the other woman, not because I wanted to be, but because sometimes the heart doesn't ask for permission before it feels. It all began on a quiet winter evening. The city lights sparkled beneath the falling snow, and I had just joined a new architecture firm. Nervous and eager to prove myself, I stepped into the office with trembling hands and dreams bigger than the skyline. That's where I met Daniel. He was calm, collected, and charming in the most effortless way. He didn't need to raise his voice to be heard. He had presence. He offered to help me get settled on my first day, and I remember thinking, finally, someone kind in this cold city. We started off as colleagues, coffee breaks, late nights at the office, long talks about design and life. He told me about his love for jazz, the way he played the piano when no one was watching. I told him about my dream to build homes for families who'd lost everything. Our bond was effortless, natural. One rainy night, while waiting under the awning for our rides, I asked if he ever got tired of this fast-paced life. He looked at me, really looked, and said, "Only until I met you." That was the moment everything shifted. I didn't know then what I know now. Weeks passed, and the tension between us grew into something undeniable. We shared secrets, dreams, even silent glances that said more than words ever could. And then, one quiet Sunday, in the stillness of the office while everyone else was gone, he kissed me. It felt like magic, but magic has a dark side too. 2 days later, he told me the truth. I'm married, Eliza.
The words landed like a crash. I felt like the floor had disappeared under me. Married. The man I was falling for belonged to someone else. He said the marriage had been over in everything but name, that they lived like strangers, that he stayed for their young daughter, and because leaving felt like failure. I wanted to walk away. I should have, but my heart was already tangled in something it didn't know how to escape. The weeks that followed were filled with moments that felt like both heaven and hell. Candlelit dinners followed by lonely nights, warm hugs and cold silences. I was his secret, hidden in the corners of his life. I convinced myself it was temporary, that love like ours would find a way. Then one Saturday, I saw him with his wife and daughter at the bookstore near my apartment. They were laughing, smiling, a picture-perfect family. That image stayed burned into my mind. That night, I cried until my voice was gone, not because he lied, but because I had lied to myself. I had chosen to believe in half-truths, in maybes, in stolen time. The next morning, I wrote him a letter. Daniel, loving you has been both a gift and a wound, but I can't keep living like this. I need more than moments. I need a life, one that I'm not hiding. I deserve that. Goodbye, Eliza.
When I gave him that letter, neither of us said much. Just tears, just silence, just goodbye. The following months were the hardest I've ever lived. I felt hollow, broken, but I didn't let it stop me. I leaned into my work, into late-night journaling, into therapy, and early morning runs. I picked up photography, started traveling, and spent weekends just watching the sunrise. And slowly I started coming back to myself. I realized that love isn't enough, not if it comes at the cost of your own soul. I learned to find peace in solitude. I stopped chasing people who couldn't choose me fully. A year later, I met someone new, Mason, a gentle soul with no secrets and no hidden chapters. With him, I didn't feel like a backup plan. I felt chosen. Looking back, I don't hate Daniel. I don't regret loving him. That love taught me everything I needed to learn about self-worth, boundaries, and courage. To anyone reading this, caught in a love that makes you feel small, please hear me. You deserve a love that is proud of you. A love that doesn't make you wait in the dark. A love that feels like daylight. Don't settle for half of someone's heart. Choose you. The right kind of love will follow.